Hey guys, welcome back to Feather's Charm. I'm Feather and welcome to this episode of my bullet journal journey. Today I'll be creating the spreads for June. So let's start off with a flip through of my first few pages. So you see the title page, my future log, the YouTube tracker for my videos, and then the followers and subscribers log, the video log, the article log, and the project log, all of which I describe and explain in my first video. So if you'd like, you can check that out, and please do subscribe if you're interested in all of these things. So let's start off with the title page for June, and I am using the medium tip calligraphy pen by Guangna, which you can find on Amazon. I will post the description of the pen in the description box down below. And I also use the Arteza pens. So this one is the Real Brush pen and it's in Rouge Pink. So I use those to create the roses that you'll be seeing throughout the journal for the rest of the year and in 2024. I also use the Arteza Real Brush pen in Peach, which will make the lighter roses as well, so that it doesn't always have to be pink. I do love this theme and I would love carrying it out for the rest of the year. I also use the Crocodile Green Real Brush pen, again by Arteza, and I use them for the leaves that you see here. Now I will post up the link to these pens as well. I would highly recommend buying them. They are absolutely gorgeous when I use them, especially for this bullet journal. As you can see here, I also use the Coffee pen, Real Brush pen by Arteza. For me, they are the best because they are water-based. They are actually watercolors, and instead of having to use actual paints, this is so much easier. And if ever I do want to make a watercolor style page, then I know what to do without having to use the actual paints. Now what I'm doing here is outlining the petals for the roses, but I don't do this throughout June, purely because when I had created the next few pages, I realized I liked the clean look without the outline. So now I'm moving on to the monthly overview, and as you can see, I use the whole pen swatch kind of look that you saw in my future log and for the logs that I had created for my first pages. So right now I'm making up the calendar for the month, and I kind of got this idea from some of the other bullet journalists that I've followed for the last few years. Now as you can see, I'm using the uni-pin pen in 0.8. I use this pen for a lot of my main titles, main outlines and borders, because it's one of the thicker pens and I didn't want to use the 1.0, or at least I think I have a 1.0. I think this is actually the thickest I have, but I wanted to use this one as it was the thickest of them all and it helped with creating the borders. Now I also used the calligraphy pen to create the borders for some of my other tables on this page. So as you can see, I'm outlining the the calendar with this pen, just to emulate the first few pages that I'd created back in the first episode of my bullet journal journey. So here I am creating the dates of the calendar. I wanted to leave a lot of room here, but just in case I wanted to make notes in those dates, which I can follow up on the tables underneath, as you can see. And for the dates that aren't in June, I drew some leaves, some dots and stars just to cover them up and make them look pretty. I didn't want to do just regular X's like some other calendars might have, because I thought it would look pretty with all these doodles. So the next thing I do is I create 2 tables under the calendar. One is for days of note, and the other is for my monthly tasks. Now, the days of note are the days which have special events or special tasks I need to do. So I have a short film fund summit on Saturday. Well, on the day this video is posted up. Of course, I had noted it down before I realized I needed to do something else on that day, so I'm not going instead, but hey, it's down there and it will remind me for the next year. You know, if I need to apply for another short film fund, I can always look back and say, hey, it's at this time of year, let's go ahead and see what it's all about. The other table is for my monthly tasks, and that would be tasks involved for Feather's Charm, maybe my monthly chores, things like that. So I will be putting in there, you know, send out another Feather's newsletter, or make up the bed, or change the towels, or whatever I choose to do for each month. Now, I had thought I wanted to just keep this bullet journal for Feather's Charm only, but I also do a few personal things in here, like my personal habits and health habits, just to keep me on top of that as well. So on this page, I am tracking all the engagements that I have for my socials, my YouTube channel. If someone new follows me, or if I post up a regular image post or a reel on Instagram. So that's what these trackers are for. They keep me on top of my socials, because that is where I struggle. So for these trackers and pages, I actually use the Staedtler double-ended fiber tip, which you can find in any stationery store. I will still post up a link to them on Amazon, so you can check those out as well. They're pretty affordable, and they're pretty good. So if you don't want to buy all those high-end paints and pens and whatnots, these are good alternatives. So as you can see, I will be tracking my YouTube followers here, what days I get a new follower on, what posts I post up on Instagram, what I get for TikTok, so all the followers that come through on TikTok, or my website views, because I do like tracking how many people have visited my website. So please do check it out. There's a lot of other stuff on there that isn't just bullet journals. I do things like interior design. I do Sims videos as well, which I will post up again soon. I believe I might post one up next week. And as you can see, I am doodling more roses. I also do a couple of like these geometric lines just to make it a little less busy, I guess. It makes it look a little more elegant, just to break up the page so that the trackers don't feel too spaced out. I also include a quote. So it says, "I have enough, I do enough, I am enough." And I think that's important for me as well. It's just some form of validation for myself, because sometimes I do need that little extra motivation. And under the quote, I'm just drawing a line of leaves just to fill in that extra space. And under that, I create next month's calendar, or next month's peak, I guess, a sneak peek. So for July, I have quite a few things going on, maybe not as intense as June, but I do have a few things that I need to look forward to, and just to remind me of those things, I put them in this little box here under my monthly overview. Okay, so now let's move on to the main part of this month. So I am creating a weekly spread. I had debated before whether or not to create a daily spread, but sometimes that can be a little bit too tedious, so I just chose to do a weekly spread instead. So I start off with creating the calendar. And what I'm doing here is getting ready to create the headlines or the titles for each part of the of my life that I want to track. So the first one is for my habits for Feather's Charm. The second is for my personal habits, and the last one is a weekly gratitude box. I think I don't express my gratitude enough lately, so I think it's best that I continue practicing. I used to do it during the pandemic when I was bullet journaling like crazy. So for my habits, I am tracking the video that I edit each week, so hopefully I can upload a video every week. I track the progress of my projects, so my crochet, my knitting, all that, and my articles for Feather's Charm. For my personal habits, I take a look at my water intake, what days I go to the gym, how many days I do yoga, how many hours I sleep. So maybe not the how many hours, but more like tracking whether I sleep for 7 to 8 hours, and that sort of thing. And I track my meditation because I do I do miss meditating, and I used to do it a lot back in the pandemic years. So here I am just outlining where the dates go. So, the Monday to Sunday thing. I split it up into 4 boxes, each one equal, and the last box I save for next week, just so that I have an idea what I need to do for the next week. So the last box that I've created here are for my weekly tasks. So things that I need to do, once a week, maybe twice a week. I list them out here and make sure I keep on top of those as well. And as you can see, I create the roses again here on the boxes that I've created. Now I've left quite a bit of space underneath because I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to create a doodle there just to take up that space. I may eventually have a different type of tracker there, so I might put down a sleep tracker there, or I might have a health habit tracker there. Who knows? I still have yet to decide, but I'll probably decide each week to try something new and see what I can do there. And hopefully I can create something that I can carry through to the next month. And I've decided to just do, sped up versions of the other spreads as well, because obviously it's going to be a little repetitive. So enjoy as I continue on with the next pages. And if you notice, I changed the color for each day of the week, as in each week. So the first week was in peach. This one I believe is in pink. The next one will be in yellow, and the last one would be green, and then peach again, because apparently there are 5 weeks in June this year. So I'll leave you to it. Before I kind of let the music take over, I just wanted to tell you a little story just to give you guys some perspective. I haven't posted in the last 2 months purely because my motivation level had dropped, and because I just couldn't find the time to do any edits or whatnots. So back in March I was ill. I had to take 2 days off of work, and I just couldn't recover from that, so I couldn't create any videos. My motivation had dropped significantly, and when April arrived, I decided I'll give it a go again. I'll try uploading a video again, and it just never manifested. And then I had about 2 weeks off because I had been in San Francisco for the last 2 weeks of April, and again I just couldn't find the courage to edit my videos or create anything for Feather's Charm. So instead I took it slow, took it easy, and by the time May rolled around, I thought, you know what, June is the best time to start this new bullet journal, because it's halfway through the year. It signified a new change anyway. It's already been 6 months into the year, and I thought, hey, why not? Because I couldn't do it in March doesn't mean I couldn't do it in June. So here we are. So I was wrong. The green was before the yellow. On a side note, I did actually change up the pen that I use to write in this journal. Back in 2020, 2021, during the pandemic, I actually used the uni-ball rollerball pen. Now, these are liquid ink pens, which are completely different from the fine liners, the uni-pin fine liners. They're from the same brand, but the uni-ball rollerball pens are actually a lot more fluid than the fine liners, and I find it much easier to write with because the fine liners can easily lose their shape because of the ends and the pressure that on which I press the page with. So I decided, let's go back to using the rollerball pens because they're much easier to write with than the fine liners. So the next time you see these pages, when they're filled in, I'm not actually using the fine liners to write in it. I'm using the uni-ball rollerball pens. Again, the description will be down below. If you've noticed, I've actually changed up the position of the roses, the doodle of the roses, for each of the boxes in each of these spreads, because I didn't want it to be too uniform. I wanted it to be a little more eccentric, like me, because I am pretty eccentric myself, and I didn't want it to be boring, so I thought, let's change up the position of these roses, make it something fun for myself, and I do find it fun. Now you can see the struggle my struggles with this pen. I actually have had these pens for more than 3 years now, and they were running out, but I will be getting new ones, don't worry. It's just that this one it was dying on me. Alright, now we are on to the last bits. This is the monthly review, not the overview, the review. So it's essentially what I think went well over the week, over the month, what needed to be improved on, in all the aspects of the bullet journal and other projects that I might have. So it's essentially my monthly diary. And it won't be too personal. It'll just be, you know, how much I've grown and things like that. And you can see I have a small section down below for the totals of the tasks or habits that I've managed to keep over the month, essentially. So I tracked my water, my gym days, my yoga routines, the meditation and sleep. I also tracked my feathers charm things, as I mentioned before. So I just count up how many dots I color in to say, yes, I've done them, or no, I haven't, that sort of thing. And these totals will probably help me with improving what I need to focus on. And there you have it, my June spread with a monthly overview and a monthly review. We'll just do a quick flip through just so you guys can see it in all its entirety. I do actually love this this title page. It's actually pretty cute. I've never done anything like it before. I've experimented with different types, but this is one of my favorites. Well, that's it from me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share for more content like this on my YouTube channel, on my social media channels, and on my website. You can find all these different and amazing content that I post up, and I hope you will enjoy it as much as I do. And don't forget to be kind, be creative, and be unique. Feather out.